With the recent news of a lot of the breakups, divorces, cheating, all these different allegations we see on today's news channels, the question is why are we shocked? Why are we shooketh? Okay, because the thing is we're idolizing a lot of these celebrities, and that's where we got to realize that they may not be our couple goals after all. Welcome to another episode of Chelsea's Live Line. I'm so excited to see y'all tonight because it's been a while. Yes, dealing with COVID and whatnot, but I'm happy to be back, better than ever, getting back into my normal routine, and I appreciate the prayers. I appreciate y'all for being here. Shout out to my Aunt Tracy for being here, saying greetings all. I hope all is well. Yes, indeed. And shout out to my guy Jermaine from That Christian Fam channel tuning in. We're going to be talking about couple goals tonight because y'all have seen a lot of stuff going on in the news, and it has me confused, to say the least. I'm not trying to rhyme, but what I'm going to do is get into the word of the day first, and we'll go from there. The word of the day is coming from Psalm chapter 16, verse 4, which says, "Those who run after other gods will suffer more and more." That's idolatry. Idolatry. What that is when we put these celebrities on a pedestal, thinking that they are greater than us and that their relationships are what we're going to look up to. No, that's what couple goals is when you're defining celebrities as the standard, which they should not be whatsoever. They're normal just as us. While y'all chasing down the celebrities, y'all going further and further away from God. And that's where we have to stop doing that. So again, stop running after other gods, because at the end of the day, that's idolatry, and as a result, we will not inherit the kingdom that God has for us. That's why I asked you, who is your God? Who is your God? I know who my God is. But you have to know who your God is and realize that we have to create a great relationship with them. And in order for us to have a great relationship with others, in order for somebody to be faithful to us, we have to be faithful to God. That's so important. And what I want to do is talk about today's couple goals. Y'all, Barack and Michelle, couple goals. I would also talk about Will and Jada. Before the whole slap thing, a lot of people was claiming that Jada and Will were couple goals. And maybe y'all can put some in the comments. Who is considered couple goals today? That's what I have a question for, because that's what the problem is that we're putting celebrities on this pedestal, and then we're trying to set the standards to them, and as a result, we don't even put our own selves as couple goals. We should be, actually, instead of talking about couple goals, we should have a couple of goals to maintain the relationships, the situationships, or whatever you're in. We should write down a couple of goals instead of trying to call a relationship couple goals. Just saying. And shout out to everybody in the chat. I see y'all. Shout out to Mona. Thank you so much for being here. Proverbs 17:11. And my guy Dre from Harrison Family Values. Thank you for being here. So again, I just want to tell y'all, stop holding celebrities to these higher standards. For example, if you stop holding them to higher standards, you realize that some of them are just normal people. Like, for example, the whole Kanye stuff going on. He wants some publicity right now. As a result, he's wearing shirts that says all lives matter. He's saying white lives matter. So as a result, he wants that attention. And since he wants that attention, we giving it to him and praising him 1 second, and then y'all want to bash on the next. That's because y'all doing that idolatry stuff. You cannot hold these people to gods. Kanye is not a god. Just like y'all was doing with Kevin Samuels, Godfather. Stop holding celebrities to higher standards. Just what it is. Many let the Will and Jada go when the whole August thing came out. I was never in their camp. Great. I'm glad to hear that. But somebody's looking up to these relationships that we see on social media because we see the glam. And a lot of these people are actors. They're literally actors. That's what they do for their career. And just because they're great and they excel in acting doesn't mean they excel in their relationships. I'm going to get into it because y'all have seen a lot of this going on right now. I'm going to share my screen. But let's take a look at the thumbnail here. We got, starting from the left, top left, we have Tia and Corey. We have Tom Brady and his wife. I don't know her name. I think it's Giselle. Neo and his wife, Crystal. Miguel and his wife. It's a couple here from Love is Blind. It's a TV show. Ayana and Jared. And lastly, we have Nia and Ime. I think Ime, whatever the case may be. But these are the couples here. All of these couples have recently gone through some type of allegations, whether it's cheating or also some divorces going on. This one shocked me first, which was Tia and Corey. And before I even get into that one, I'm going to start with Nia Long and Ime, right? So this is what people have been saying on Twitter about that. Attention, ladies. These MFs don't cheated on Beyonce, Halle Berry, Khalees, Cardi B, Leela Rashawn, and now Nia Long. Child, they don't deserve us. Dear God, I pray the Jada Pinkett spirit on every woman whose men be in other folks' inbox or drawers. Amen. These women think just because these celebrities have been cheated on that we have no chance. They don't deserve us. And shout out to my sis, Latanya from Cure for the Soul Ministries. And shout out to Law as well for being here. I appreciate y'all. And thank you so much for hitting that like button while y'all come in here. But yes, they said since these women have been cheated on, us women have no chance. That means low self-esteem. That's what that means. That's what that's screaming. I've also read somebody saying the following. Not Nia Long done got cheated on. My man said he was going over his mama's house. Let me drive by and make sure, because at this point ain't nobody safe. That's what I'm saying. This low self-esteem y'all scream because of the fact Nia Long is an attractive woman. That makes her the full package. Another woman said, not putting the blame on whoever is being cheated on, but stop with the Halle Berry, Princess Diana, Beyonce, and now Nia Long. But they are so beautiful narrative. It's not about how you look. That's for everyone else to pat him on the back. It's about how you make him feel. And this is one thing Halle Berry said. This is a quote they say that she said before. Let me tell you something. Being thought of as a beautiful woman has spared me nothing in life. No heartache, no trouble. Love has been difficult. Beauty is essentially meaningless, and it's always transitory. Bars. And that's what I'm telling you. Women think pretty privilege exists, but then when these women get cheated on, then it's a whole different story. So as I go back to this slide here, I want to talk next about Tia and Corey. We just heard about this news yesterday. Tom Brady and his wife yesterday, Miguel and his wife yesterday, and Ayanna and Jared yesterday. 4 divorces popped up on the scene that was on the Shade Room. So I want to talk about Tia and Corey Harvard. And that was a couple I thought would make it because at the end of the day, they seemed to paint that picture of what love was, and some claim it's black love because they were on the Black Love series not too long ago. Beauty is vain. Beauty is vain or fleeting. Exactly. But let's look at this here. So Tia had filed for divorce. Corey had a picture up 3 weeks ago where a man or a woman had put up, God don't like men that cheat. And he responded today saying, well, God loves me. And this is the problem, is that we don't even know what went down, but we're just assuming the worst. And as a result, we got these people responding to us to get attention. We don't know what this man did. We don't know. And I just pray for them. That's what we can do. For the people y'all consider couple goals, we can just pray for them to heal themselves as it relates to their relationships and as it relates to their future moving forward. Okay? That's all we can do. I did like them as a couple, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. We're just going to pray for them. And shout out to Coach Harry for being here, saying, as soon as she said we don't follow gender roles, I figured they were doomed. Yes, that's one thing that happened regarding Tia and Corey, is that they don't have gender roles established. As a result, anybody can do anything. And I think you have to have a clear distinction of who the man is in a relationship and who the woman is. Otherwise, you're going to have some clashing that goes on. Yeah. I want to get into what today's couple goals is as it relates to toxic culture. Watch this, y'all. Let me just show y'all this screen here where it says, gave him one last chance. This time he really promised to never cheat again and introduced me to all his family. Figured out I was pregnant. Okay. Wait for this next slide, y'all. He shot me and killed our baby on accident. I'm going to just let this sit up here for a little bit so y'all can, get this reaction that y'all got going on when you hear this. He shot me and killed our baby on accident. This man found out you were pregnant, tried to shoot you, kill you. Well, he didn't try to, he did. He shot you, killed the baby. He tried to kill you too, but didn't have success. Ooh, I can't wait for these comments to come in. I can't wait for these comments to come in because it's ridiculous. He shot me and killed our baby on accident. But let me tell you what the next slide is. After she survived her would have been death, he bought me a promise ring. So I took him back this one last time and forgave him. A promise ring, sis? I've done an episode on that before. I've done an episode on promise rings. It's not the real thing. And just because he bought you material means that you're going to take him back after he killed your baby that you could have had. Killed your offspring, and he almost tried to kill you. That's what he tried to do. That was his intention to do. He accidentally shot you. Yeah, okay, sis. This is what I'm talking about. This toxic love. Couple goals, because she forgave him. That's not acceptable. I would say at that point, like, I'm not going to condone that. Why is this acceptable for her to forgive him knowing that he shot her, was trying to kill her, and that was his mission? All right. The question I have for y'all is that should couple goals be canceled? That hashtag, when we assign a particular celebrity couple to be couple goals and we idolize them, should couple goals be canceled? And while I'm asking that question, Jermaine in the comments going off. All right. Our women waste their best on bums. Yes, PhD women getting manipulated by GED men. That's how it goes. Why is she so ignorant? That's a great question. That's a great question. I'm just like, where the parents at? And shout out to successful melanated Dusty saying, I promise that I will suck every ounce of self-esteem from you. That's what happened for her. These people gonna learn today. Dang. So should couple goals be canceled? Let me know. And I do see a response already from Coach Harry saying yes, because we never know what's going on behind closed doors of these perfect relationships. Couple goals. That's one yes. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. And while y'all are answering that question about couple goals, I want to say that aren't there couple goals in the Bible? Right? Aren't there couple goals in the Bible? Let me know some couples that y'all think are in the Bible that should be considered couple goals. Not what the world's definition of couple goals is, but more so the biblical version. As I read these comments. Yeah, she's definitely breaking up. She's breaking up her family. For the streets. For the streets. But I do say, let me just answer this real quick while y'all responding. There are a couple goals in the Bible, but we're reading the wrong examples. And we're applying them to our relationships, and that's why they're not working out. So let me tell y'all about some biblical version of today's couple goals, right? So let's talk about Jezebel and Ahab. She was plotting against this man in 1 Kings 16. That's where it starts. The story starts. But she was plotting against this man, and because of the fact she looked beautiful, right, had all this makeup on, had the eyes looking all nice and whatnot, he was attracted to that and got out. Like, he got messed up. Like, she's forging his signature. She is for the streets. She's over here trying to get whatever buck she can because she's money hungry. This is what today's relationships look like. Jezebel and Ahab. So that's what people are looking at as couple goals. Another example, Samson and Delilah in Judges 16. Let's talk about it. Samson had talent. Samson had strength. Where did he have his strength in? His hair. Delilah had to keep manipulating this man, playing psychology on this man, asking, if you love me, you just tell me what your strength is. You just tell me, because she knew that there were men that wanted to kill Samson. They wanted to know what his strength was. She kept asking, manipulating this man until the point where he finally said his strength was in his hair. She went on running her mouth, telling the news to the men, and as a result, his hair was shaved, he lost his strength, and ended up getting killed. This is what women will do to men today. Look at the stories. Jezebel and Ahab, Samson and Delilah. Samson and Delilah is in Judges 16, okay? Yeah, not that Jezebel. That's what a lot of women look like today. Even Lot's wife. Yeah, Lot's wife. Red flag. And then successful melanated Dusty says, celebrities are not good examples for couple goals. Couple goals should be faith-based. Yes, definitely not Jezebel and Ahab. She wanted power and the land. Peter and his wife. Okay. Y'all gonna have to give me some backstory. See, I haven't read that one yet, so that's why I'm not familiar. See, this is why I'm learning every day. But thank you for that example, Jermaine. Appreciate that. Law says, shouldn't be pillow talking with Delilah. Come on, Samson. There you go. And then Bathsheba, that's another example of that lust. But let me tell y'all some biblical versions of couple goals. Let me give y'all some good examples of what we should consider. Like successful melanated Dusty said, what should we consider couple goals today? Jacob and Rachel, Genesis 29. Let me tell you a little bit about this story because it's a positive one. Jacob went to his uncle Laban, expecting to find a wife. Laban recommended Rachel, his youngest daughter, who was extremely beautiful, and said Jacob would have to work for him for 7 years to get her, which it felt like days to him. 7 years. He put 7 years of labor in to get Rachel, but it felt like days to him. And what I'm trying to tell y'all by this particular statement is that let a man work for you. Let a man put in that work that he needs to earn your trust, earn your love. Not just give him the prized possession that you have and then expect him to put the work in after that. No, You hold out, ladies. I know it can be difficult. But I'm not going to be no hypocrite on here. So I'm saying, I know it can be difficult, but it can be done. It can be done. And every day may be a struggle for you, but just know you're doing this for God. You have to be faithful to him. How can we expect a faithful partner if we're not full of faith? Just saying. But let me get back to the story. Jacob worked for Laban for 7 years to get Rachel, but Laban had a different motive because he had an older daughter by the name of Leah, right? Leah was unmarried. Laban said, hey, let me switch this up. After Jacob works his 7 years trying to get Rachel, let me mess things up by having Jacob accidentally marrying Leah instead. Jacob married Leah. But then what happened was Laban said, oh, let me have you work 7 more years to get my daughter Rachel. And then he ended up marrying Rachel a week later. So he had 2 wives, Rachel and Leah, right? And then Rachel felt some type of way because she realized that her sister, older sister Leah, who Jacob did not want to be married to, started having all these babies. And Rachel's like, when am I have a baby? Do you love me less because I don't have a baby for you? But she didn't realize that Jacob loved Rachel more because that's who he wanted to be with. When a man wants to be with you, he's going to apply that pressure. Leah kept having all these babies for him, back to back to back to back, and then was wondering, she had all these babies for him back to back to back, and it got to the point in time where Jacob wasn't showing her love after having all these babies for him. Then she started having babies and thanking God for that opportunity. That's when she was blessed in that sense. But what I'm trying to get at is that women, you're having children, you're having all these babies for all these men, right? And you're thinking that man is going to love you because you're giving him his legacy. That may not always be the case. It's a rare case when you get leveled up from baby mama to wife. So what I'm trying to let you know is that do it in the right order. Y'all know what it is already. And then you'll have better success that way. But thinking that you can just put some babies on a man, now you got him paying child support and he's supposed to respect you and love you dearly and wife you up and take you serious. No, he's not going to want you if he never really wanted you. You're not going to be able to keep him if he didn't want to be kept. That's why I'm telling you, Jacob and Rachel was a true story because Rachel ended up having 2 sons for Jacob. Joseph, as we know the story of Joseph, and also her other son, Benjamin. So she had 2 sons for him. But what I'm saying is that Rachel had so many, I think she had 10. Leah had 10 sons for Jacob, and as a result, he didn't take her serious whatsoever. That's the point I'm trying to make to y'all. So read that in Genesis 29, Jacob and Rachel. That's the story of couple goals as it relates to the Bible, okay? The next example I want to talk about is Ruth and Boaz. Yes, a famous example, right? And the question is, how many Rachels are there in society now? That's a great question. And Jermaine said, and Leah, by man's standards, wasn't pretty either. Dang. And yes, men did have to pay dowry for those days. Yes, they did. Devon and Megan, now Corey and Tia. Ouch, those were Christian couples. Christian couple goals for many. Yes, they were, because I kind of felt some type of way when I heard about Corey and Tia. I wasn't really surprised about the Devon and Megan situation, only because I know that Megan was really for the streets, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. Megan was more for the streets, and she really wasn't wife material. But Corey and Tia, I felt like Tia was wife material until I heard recently that she was posting these half-naked pictures on the internet. And maybe that had Corey feeling some type of way. But I don't know. And I'm definitely not going to talk about people and their marriages because I'm not married, so I can't do that. All I can do is talk about relationships and what I would not do and what I would do. That's just what it is. The next story, Ruth and Boaz. As we know, Ruth's husband died, right? And that was Naomi's son. So Naomi was the mother-in-law of Ruth. Ruth decided to be faithful to Naomi, her mother-in-law, even after the fact that Ruth's husband had passed. She decided to be faithful to her mother-in-law because she created that relationship together, right? And because of her faithfulness, Naomi had Ruth working in the fields. Ruth was working in the fields, and while she was working in the fields, Naomi was able to plug her with one of Naomi's family members. And then there you go, Ruth and Boaz. That's who that family member was. And I've actually talked about Ruth and Boaz and Jacob and Rachel on my previous episode, so I want y'all to take a look at this real quick, all right? I learned that stop idolizing these relationships, because I know there's some godly relationships out here that should be idolized. Again, Jacob and Rachel in the Bible. Let's also talk about Ruth and Boaz, okay? In the story of Ruth. I was just reading that the other day, just finished that up, and that motivated me to realize Ruth was out here working, not out here twerking. Ruth was out here working in these streets, in the fields, but y'all try to be in the streets, okay? So she was doing her due diligence. Ruth was out here working, not twerking, and that's why she found Boaz. But some of y'all are twerking to show yo fill in the blank. Yes. So with that being the case, I'm just saying that let's be examples of love that God has presented. Let's be examples of love that God has presented. Yes, Chelsea. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, what I talk about back then is what I talk about now. It has to align for me. What I say is what I say when I say it. Period. And yes, definitely, he said, Jermaine's like, my man said, I'm going to make 10 kids with no lights on. Yeah, because he was with this woman for the pleasure, obviously. Excuse me. With this woman for the pleasure, which was Leah. He didn't really want to be bothered with Leah. That was a wrap. Coach Harry said, thirst trap pics, also no bueno. Nope, not good at all. When I saw Tia posting those thirst trapping pics on Instagram over the last several months, I knew something was up. See, and that's what I'm saying. We be seeing the stuff working and not twerking. That's what y'all need to be doing out in the fields, because you have to ask God. Talk to God for a second. Dial in. Don't hang up the call, dial in, and find out from God, what does he want you doing in this season? There's always something we need to be doing. We need to be planning out our days better. I'm one to say it. I need to be planning out my days better. I need to make sure I get more time for God in. Before I click on that Facebook app, I need to make sure I went on the Bible app to see what the verse of the day was. There's so much stuff that needs to be done to better ourselves, so we can be discerning, because when you better yourselves, you know you're not going to want to settle for less in that case. You're not going to want to settle for a man who gives you a promise ring after he done shot you and killed the baby to be. You had a baby on the way and killed this baby, okay? Because he didn't want to be bothered with the baby. See, that's what I'm saying. It's a mess. It's a mess, to say the least. And shout out to G My Joe for tuning in. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you. And shout out to Amy as well. Thank you so much for being here. So again, we don't want to be out here working and twerking. We want to be out here working and not twerking. That's the key. Not twerking. Okay, y'all don't want to be out here twerking. I'm just going to leave it at that. And then Latanya said, Tia probably started posting those kind of pics to get back at something going on with Corey behind the scenes, like when Lala did to Carmelo. See, that's the thing. And I've seen a lot of women that want to talk about how they don't have a chance, right? They don't have a chance. That's only going to lead to further insecurities. Y'all know that, right? This is why we cannot put people on a pedestal, because as we know, there's going to be a point in time when our relationship's not going to align with that. And then you're going to want to have this other couple as the standard. You don't want to have another couple as the standard. Like I said, set a couple of goals for your relationship. Sit down on a frequency so you can understand how you can become better according to God's standards. And shout out to Truth or Talks. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I know you follow me on my Instagram page, so I'm happy to see you here. Thank you so much. But yes, Law also said that need for attention and acceptance continues to plague us as a people. We can't understand that we are complete in God. Yes, that is so true. I totally agree. But what I want to talk about next is that regarding Ruth and Boaz, there's a movie out called For the Love of Ruth, and my grandmother had the opportunity to watch it. I'll be watching it tonight. It's on Tubi, so if you have a smart TV and you have the Tubi app, check out For the Love of Ruth. Loretta Devine is in it, so I think it's going to be a good one, and it's about the story of Ruth. So that gives you the opportunity, after you read about Ruth and Boaz and the story of Ruth in the Bible, you can watch that movie just to further solidify the understanding of it. Let's be examples, because even though Ruth had become a widow, she still didn't give up. And that's what I love about her. She supported her mother-in-law, and then her mother-in-law looked out for her to find somebody else that could fit her criteria. That's ever so important. Yes, thank you. Make sure you hit this like button if you haven't already. I appreciate that so much. And why stoop below your standards? I totally agree with that. Why do that? It never works itself out. But most important thing I want to just talk about is women and self-esteem. We have to go back to the basics to understand that our self-esteem determines everything in life. It determines our circle of people we hang around, knowing that we shouldn't hang around these people because we know we deserve better, but because we're comfortable with that environment, we're comfortable with that lid being right here, we don't want to lift it up here because it's too much work. No, make sure that you are always improving yourself. And what I want to talk about next as it relates to self-esteem, this last clip, there was this woman who found out that her boyfriend had cheated on her with her sister. She went to the grocery store and try to run this man over, but instead killed an innocent elderly man. Watch this clip, and I hope that y'all can, it's going to be a 48-second clip. We'll watch this, and then I'll come back to talk about it. No. I know, Latanya. No. Okay? This is insanity. I have no words for this. I totally agree. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? That minivan picked up that much speed to knock that boy down. And not only that, killed an innocent bystander in the midst of it. We have heard too many cases lately where black women have gone insane over men. Your mental health is extremely important right now. I know there have been women who, like the woman, I think she was in LA. She was a nurse, if I'm not mistaken. She drove so fast that she ended up killing so many people that were in cars, but she stayed alive. And now she's going to jail on all the accounts of those particular people. All because of a man. I think the man, they both got in an argument or something. She ended up drinking, started driving, killed all these innocent people who were in her way as she drove 100 miles per hour down a street. Not a freeway, y'all, but a street. Killing, I believe 6 people. And here's another case where an elderly man is just going to get his groceries, going to grocery shop, and then you kill this man because you had so much rage because he cheated on you with your sister. My question is, what did you do to the sister if you did this to the man? What's up? That lady's crash was 6 blocks from you? What? Wow. 3 blocks. Excuse me. 3 blocks from you. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Jermaine said, this is why brothers getting them passports. Yeah, they getting them passports, but make sure that they leaving too when you get the passports. Because every woman, let me just say this, every woman, including myself, is not like these women that y'all see out here that's accepting the bare minimum or just doing whatever, whenever because of low self-esteem, because they haven't realized who they are. Don't let a relationship get you to the point where you have to go out of your way to hurt other people. You don't think for a second. You have to think, then do. Slow to speak. All of that, okay? Slow to speak. Y'all know how it goes. Y'all quick to anger and all of that. Y'all gotta slow it down. Quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. That's how it goes. And that's why they get in the passports. They are because they want peace. Men say they want peace, and I'm hoping that those same men that want peace are giving peace. And if they are giving peace, then you have the right to give them peace as well, ladies. Just saying, but every woman out here is not doing that. Thank the Lord. But I just know today's toxic culture is accepting the bare minimum because they rather have half of a man than a whole man. Instead of waiting out. Let's say that they have to wait 2 years for a good man. They rather wait a half a month and find this one that they thought were good, that God did not approve. They were confident, but they weren't Godfident. They were confident, but they weren't Godfident. Okay? They were over here thinking that this man appears to be a man because they were a shell. Then they decide to go with this man, procreate with this man. Now you got babies. Now you're a baby mama. He didn't want to wed you. Now you got a promise ring on for the rest of your life. He's talking about he promised you. He's promising you. What is he promising you? Is he promising you that he gonna keep you in baby mama status? That's what that promise ring is for. It's not to wife you up. It doesn't get converted. I don't want a man, like I told people before, promise rings are for kids in middle school. After high, look, middle school. I'm not even talking about high school. Not a promise ring. Exactly. A promise ring, sir? Promise me that you gonna go to Jared and get the real thing. If you can't get the real thing, don't play with me. Don't play with me. I don't have the type of time. I'm telling you. Look, you live and you learn. But the one thing I never got was no promise ring because nobody gonna play with me like that. That's what I'm saying. Men know who they gonna play with, and they're not gonna play with this one, to say the least. Okay. And what I want to talk about as well is that when it comes to couple goals, people don't want to get married anymore. I actually saw when they saw that Corey and Tia were filing for a divorce, right? There was somebody in the comments who said, this is why I don't want to get married. How discouraging is that? Don't let these divorces, singles, I'm talking to the singles right now. Don't let these divorces get you discouraged. Don't let them drain you. Don't let them make you desperate to find somebody as well. See, that's what I'm saying. Divorces can do a lot of things. They can make you desperate. Seeing that as a single can make you desperate to find love because nobody out here, everybody's getting divorced, so let me find love. Let me be desperate. Don't be desperate because you rush that process. Just imagine how many botched vehicles are on the assembly line, but they're not going to let them get out to the customer. What I'm saying is that take your time and let that man go through his assembly line process to be able to get whole, get healed, and do the necessary steps. There's a step process. You can't be going on the assembly line skipping the basics. You cannot get a man. Make sure you get a man that actually goes through the quality assurance process. Otherwise, you're getting damaged goods that you got to fix. You got to build up that bay, and you shouldn't have to do that. That's what I'm saying. But That's why we want to call other people couple goals, because it looks good. These people are actors and actresses. Tia was an actress, is an actress. Corey is an actor. Don't you think they're gonna make everything look good on Instagram? They were like, just a couple months ago, y'all was posting these pictures up. Anything can happen at any day. But you gotta know what you're gonna do with that. Love, look, we know what love is. 1 Corinthians 13, we know what love is. Love is patient, love is kind. We know all of this, but we gotta know how to apply that to real life, because we can say those words a million times and still not know how they apply to what we need. And then another thing I don't like is just everybody wanna run quickly to divorce. I know they've been married, like Tia and Corey. I know they've been married for 14 years, but what I'm saying is that you didn't have to run over there and get a divorce. Like, did y'all do all the options, exercise all your options? Because people think it's the easy way out, and they got prenups as well. That's another topic I have to talk to some marriage couples about, but I do know that they got a prenup, and I love to know everybody's opinion on prenups. I don't know what y'all think about them, but I'm going to read some of these comments to catch up. Promise ring is a joke. That's a fact. Like, Future giving his chicks Pateks. Like, you're giving them watches and saying, okay, here, this is what I give to you. I'm giving you this material thing so you can get out my way. It's just another way to distract you until you get the real thing. If you get it from me. I don't know. You can get a passport all you want, but the sin is in the person. Go overseas for the crazy. See, that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that it don't matter if they light skin, dark skin, Asian, Puerto Rican, anything. If they are for the streets, they're for the streets. Y'all don't know about these women over there. Y'all really don't know about these women unless y'all traveled over there on a frequently basis. We don't know y'all don't know what y'all getting set up for. So just be aware, be discerning no matter where you at, whether you're in America or Africa. It don't matter. I'm just saying, just have to be discerning, because it's about the person, like LaTanya is saying. That's a big thing. I'm just saying, go overseas. If you're going to do it, like, real hustlers move in silence. That's one thing I have to say. I can't say that I support the passport bros, and I can't say that I don't support them. What I say is that whatever you do, real hustlers move in silence. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to go ahead and do it, and y'all going to hear about my experiences. I'm not going to say I got my passport, but it's got dust on it, and I ain't been overseas nowhere. Just saying. Follow peace with all men and holiness without, which no man shall see the Lord. Amen. Read the rest of these comments. These man cave communities straight act like they don't be contributing to or causing the crazy. Exactly. They have no part in it. They want a woman that's going to give them their bodies at no cost. Like, they don't want a woman that got respect on her body. I don't understand that. We treat relationships like marriages. So imagine how many marriages a person has been in before you meet them. Yes, every time you interact with a partner, that's a marriage. You have become one flesh, whether you know it or not. That's why you wonder why you acting like that ex that you had 3 years ago. All that stuff transfers. It's not about STDs sexually transmitted diseases. It's about STDs, spiritually transmitted diseases. And shout out to Hustler and Muscular for being here. Even celebrity couples have to go through a messy divorce. Yeah, but it seems like Corey and Tia, in their case, they have a prenup, so I don't think it'd be too messy for them. And shout out to Gracious Greatness for tuning in as well. Yes, that social media is an illusion. Yes, it's the falsehood. We put filters on it, and then we think we watching reality. Y'all know what time it is. Narcissistic individuals will study you better than anything. Yes, they will. I'm reading these comments, y'all. I appreciate y'all for being in the chat. I appreciate y'all. Make sure I hit this like button. I really enjoyed this conversation tonight. I just want to wrap up by saying that instead of couple goals, about this hashtag couple goals and whatnot, y'all should write down a couple of goals that y'all can maintain to be able to get better in life, so you won't have to worry about comparing yourself to people who don't even know who you are. I've given y'all references today to couple goals who are in the Bible. I'm not saying that couple goals should be canceled, only because there are biblical couple goals examples that we can look to. We're not talking about the Jezebels and Ahabs, the Samson and Delilah. Just because it's in the Bible doesn't mean that it's right to apply to our lives. I want y'all to think about Jacob and Rachel. I want y'all to think about Ruth and Boaz. And there are many others as well, as mentioned in the comments. I appreciate y'all for being here. I'm going to read some more of these comments. Please hit that like button on your way out. And then Truth of Talk says, prenup is not the move for your typical marriage, but I think it's fine for independently wealthy individuals. I agree. Seek God's goals. Yes, please do. I appreciate y'all so much. And if women stop sleeping with Brother Pookie and Brother Ray Ray, we will see some positive change. Game is total trash. Yes, yes, yes. Hit that like button if y'all haven't already. I'm so happy to be back here on Chelsea's Live Line. Make sure y'all watch some of my old episodes I've had, because I've been reiterating this stuff. This is nothing new, but we just got to remember that we cannot idolize these different couples, because they get these divorces. Now y'all feeling some type of way, and y'all don't think y'all ever be married again because of it. Well, stay blessed as always. Read your Bibles. Learn something new today. Take the time out. Take some time out today. Read some verses in the Bible. Read a chapter or so. I've given y'all plenty of examples today because we need to learn. Stop idolizing these people. Stop keeping up with their every move. Most of y'all need to be in the FBI as much as y'all keep up with these celebrities and what they doing. And we know we got to take our time for God so we won't have to be worried about them and how we can make our lives like them. We don't even know what's going on behind the scenes. How about taking it one day at a time? Amen, brother. Stop looking at the far and the distant stuff and focus on what you can do better today. Yes, and thank you so much, Latanya, for being here. Also, go to Cure for the Soul Ministries because Latanya has a video talking about the whole Nia and Ime, if that's his name, talk about their whole situation. Go on to her channel after this video. I appreciate y'all for being here. Peace and love to you as well. Stay blessed, and I will see y'all next week, God willing, for another episode of Chelsea's Live Line.